speaking on one of these is Hoover Gumby. Hoover Gumby. Who the fuck is Hoover Gumby? Right? Well, I'm gonna let y'all know who is this dude. He's a nobody. Period. I'm not a nigga that's finna sit here and gloat off some shit that I did by default, right? Caught a body on one of the homies for what it was doing to him, right? And what it was doing to other blacks on that yard. On 90s, you ain't never had no ops running from you. You ain't went to that county jail and ran it up. I'm tired of sitting back watching Buster ass hide up under an umbrella that come from some gangsters. You feel me? That done lost his way in a whole lot of ways, my nigga. You know what I mean? On the dead homies, you like butt. Let's keep that shit real. You a booty bandit and you want your story out there, but you don't want to tell nobody that you was getting you don't want to tell nobody the little sexual that you be doing to the homies in the set, bro. You not from Hoover, bro. It's too much talking on this internet about this Hoover shit. Let's speak facts, bro. To be from Hoover, you got to get put on Hoover. You got to go through trials and tribulations to be from this shit. Didn't you turn the set in jail? You start banging the set in jail, sir. You ain't smoked no ops, sir. All of your shit internal. You feel me? Meaning you do shit to homies that you feel will let you oppress them. If you from Hoover and you riding behind the net, then only victimize your homies.
Shot at least once, and a bullet had shattered the windshield of a car parked on the street. At first, detectives had little to go on, but weeks later, a tip led them to Gumby and Obi. The two were in jail when they learned they had been charged with murder. At trial, they insisted they were innocent, and their defense attorney argued that they were home hungover after drinking heavily the night before. No physical evidence connected the pair to the crime. The prosecution's case relied almost entirely on eyewitnesses who identified them as the shooters. John was a star witness who said he was sure that they were the men he saw. The verdict came back guilty on all counts. Gumby and Obi were given life in prison without the possibility of parole. When Gumby first got to prison, he made an effort to be a model inmate. He made his bed every morning and was always prompt for count. Calipatria was often described as a money prison. It was swarmed with unchecked violence and Eddie Clark, also known as Devil, was a shot caller among the black inmates at the prison. He was also a respected elder in Gumby's old gang and neighborhood. 2 years after he entered prison, Devil fell in love with a correctional officer at that prison. When she quit her job, she would visit Devil and supplied him with cigarettes that he sold to other inmates. Devil also manufactured vast amounts of an alcoholic brew he mixed up while working in the kitchen. As Devil's substance abuse worsened, he became excessively violent and sexual with other inmates, taking dudes' manhoods left and right. It was taking dudes down by fear due to his sheer size. The Hoovers tried to stage an intervention because he was completely out of control. On the morning of November 28th, 2000, Gumby had already known revenge could be on its way. He had refused an order from Devil to take the fall for a higher-ranking inmate who was caught with a knife. So that morning, the Devil approached Gumby in the yard and poked him with a flat, which is a piece of stainless steel sharpened to a point, and whispered to Gumby, "Nigga, you my." Gumby went off to nurse his wounds. The guards didn't notice the attack, and it was common for inmates to withhold details of a Devil attack. Another one of Devil's victims had told guards that he was stung by a bee. Gumby knew Devil would come after him again. Gumby then dug up a knife he fashioned previously and hid it in his pants. Minutes later, Gumby did a full sprint across the yard and leaped over a guard and dug the knife into Devil's neck.